Question 4 is the topic of discriminant. So this is the topic under equations and inequality. So this is the topic where you got the condition of the roots corresponding to different number of roots. So if you still remember, if you got 2 roots, the discriminant is positive. If you got 1 root, the discriminant is equal to 0. And if you got no roots, the discriminant is negative. So this is the one that a lot of people, they couldn't relate. So they find that they will forget, or when they see another question, they don't even recognize that it's a discriminant question. So again, what are roots? Roots are intersection. So it can be intersection with the x-axis, or it can be intersection between lines and curves. So roots are like intersection. So for 4a, we got a quadratic graph. So we got a graph of this. So when you recognize that that is a quadratic function, the instinct should be, do you think it's a smile face or a sad face? So in this case, it's a positive x squared. So this graph is a smile graph. So this graph is a smile graph. And the description for the graph is, this is entirely above the x-axis. So if it's entirely above the x-axis, there is no intersection. There are no intersection with the x-axis because it's totally above it. So the implication will be no roots. So the implication will be the discriminant is negative. So you will need to get your ABC to execute this discriminant. So where does the ABC come from? It comes from the quadratic function. So the ABC will be ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is my A, this is my B, and then this is my C. It's very important you get the condition correct. The condition being correct will give you a method mark. So if your condition is wrong, right, there won't be any method mark, no answer mark. So plainly you get a 0 for this. So you try executing it. So if you do the expansion, everything, right, you are going to get something that looks like this. So this is a quadratic inequality, like in question 1. So in question 1, the quadratic inequality is in X, but right now it is in M. So you still look at it like factorization. You factorize so that you can look at it as a quadratic function. So that means if I have drawn out the graph for M, not the graph for X, so I should get a small graph, and the 2 brackets, mentally let it be 0, so you can have the intercept. Okay, which portion are you interested? You are interested in the portion below the M axis. So that will be your range of M. So the range of M should be this. Okay, so there's question quadratic inequality in question 1, same thing here. Okay, the next one, part B, you may not see that it's a kind of root, but if you recognize that this is a straight line and being a tangent to a curve. So if you recognize that, right, it looks like this. So a straight line being a tangent means that you will touch. And then this part is the curve. So if you look right, there is only one contact point. So this contact point is like an intersection. So tangent means there's only one intersection. And being one intersection means one root. Means your discriminant must be equal to 0. So in this case, where are you going to get the ABC? There is a straight line, there is a curve. So in order to get the ABC, you got to execute simultaneous equation. So if you have a straight line and a curve, you will always need to do some simultaneous. So even if these two, even if the straight line doesn't intersect the graph, and if there's no intersection, something like this. So there's no intersection, means that there are no roots. So the discriminant will be negative. So even if there are no intersection, you still got to execute the simultaneous. Otherwise, you cannot get your ABC. So the technique of simultaneous, the linear function, you got a subject for the linear function. In this case, I gotten my y. I substitute in. So this is how I will get my ABC. So you make sure you can simplify in this way. So make sure it looks like the quadratic equation format. So once it looks like the format, you will be able to tell this is your A. And then this is your B. And this is your C. So throw the 3 numbers in. You should be able to find some values of K. So see whether you end up K equal to 3 as the final answer.